Greetings, my name is Jim Siebeking, the Science and Operations Officer at WFO St. Louis, and I'd like to just share one of our success stories of providing Tier 1 decision support services that occurred on August 4th, 2012. The event we provided support for was the Washington Town and Country Fair. Now, weeks before the event was to occur, the Fire Chief, Bill Halmick, who serves as the City of Washington's Emergency Manager Director, contacted the National Weather Service and requested Tier 1 decision support services for the Washington Town and Country Fair from August 4th to August 5th. The City of Washington, Missouri is just 25 miles to the southwest of the Weather Forecast Office, symbolized by the radar on this map, and 50 miles to the west of the City of St. Louis. Due to the proximity of Washington being so close to the greater St. Louis metropolitan area, they attract pretty large crowds to this event. The Saturday headliner is REO Speedwagon, and the expected attendance was going to be around 12,000 people. On Friday, the lead forecaster at the National Weather Service office in St. Louis contacted Fire Chief Bill Halmick and advised him of the possibility of severe weather on Saturday evening and overnight. Here's the Day 2 outlook from SPC. Lead forecaster from the National Weather Service contacted the emergency manager once again Saturday morning and told him that the slight risk of severe thunderstorms had shifted a little bit further south and to expect thunderstorms to develop during the late afternoon and evening hours. At 6:15, a severe thunderstorm watch was issued for Franklin County and the City of Washington. Lead forecaster on duty called the emergency manager and told him about the watch and that he could expect thunderstorms to affect the fairgrounds during the evening, especially after 9 p.m. This is when the Unified Command Center, or the EOC, was activated and their severe weather action plan was put into place. This included fair officials, local government leaders, including the mayor and city council members, emergency services personnel, and the city department employees. At roughly 8:15, thunderstorms began to develop just to the northwest of Washington. As you can see, as I step up into the slices, you can see the cells starting to develop just to the northwest of Washington. As we step forward in time, again, we're at the elevation on slice about 4. You can see a thunderstorm just to the northwest of Washington. This is when the lead forecaster on duty called Bill and told him about the thunderstorms that were developing almost overhead. Bill was watching the radar, but you can see that if he was watching just the half-degree scan, he was focused more on these thunderstorms out here by Chamois and Portland, and not on the ones that were developing overhead. And so the forecaster told him about the thunderstorms that were going to be moving in the next half hour, and that he would be expected to experience some lightning, gusty winds of 30 to 40 miles per hour, and heavy downpours. Also talked about the possibility of these thunderstorms intensifying out to the west and moving into the fairgrounds later on in the evening. Moving on in time till about 8:45, you can see that first initial batch of thunderstorms moves through and east of Washington. A few severe thunderstorm warnings have been issued for the convection that's developing out to the west. This is when the concert was just starting to get going, and nearly 12,000 people were finding their way to their seats in the Washington County Fairgrounds. The lead forecaster on duty once again called Bill and tells him that the storms to the west are intensifying and that strong winds can be expected in the fairgrounds around 9:30 p.m. Shortly after this point that the Unified Command Center decides to cancel the concert after just 2 songs are played and begins evacuating and sheltering people. Moving on in time till about 9:10, it's about right here, you can see that the convection continues to grow upscale and congeal into one mass. And another phone call is made to Bill from the lead forecaster on duty explaining that the fairgrounds will likely see severe wind gusts from the storms moving in from the west. As we move forward in time, just a few more scans here. Another phone call is placed to Bill from the lead forecaster at about 9:20, explaining a severe thunderstorm warning is going to be issued for Washington, and that he can expect 60 to 70 mile per hour winds to impact the fairgrounds at 9:45 p.m. I'm going to switch from reflectivity to base velocity here, and as we move on in time, at 9:22, there's a NWS chat message from the Franklin County Emergency Management Agency explaining that the evacuation and sheltering of the kids without rides continues. So most of the people are leaving, but there are some kids that are left behind, and they're being sheltered inside sturdy buildings. And as we move into time, at 9:41, you can see that the velocity continues to increase as the storm starts to bow out, and we're starting to get some reports of 60 to 70 mile per hour winds with the line of thunderstorms. Another chat message from the lead forecaster on duty to the Franklin County Emergency Manager states that the highest wind gusts are headed right for Washington, and they should prepare immediately for 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gust. As I push forward in time, at approximately 9:45, the storm hits the fairgrounds with 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gust, blowing over many tents, breaking off tree limbs, downing power lines. The fairgrounds had been evacuated by that time, and only one or possibly two injuries were reported from flying debris in the parking lot. The headlines the next day in local newspapers speak for themselves. And Bill was quoted in these articles praising the work of the National Weather Service for giving him the information that he needed to make decisions to evacuate the fairgrounds before the severe storm hit. This is just one of many examples where Tier 1 DSS made the difference. Can you imagine what would have happened had those fairgoers not been evacuated? From all the staff in St. Louis, thank you for your time and happy DSSing.